Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to the Holistic Healing Podcast. This is an exploration to understand more about the mind-body connection and learn how to bring more happiness and joy and fulfillment into our lives. I'm so excited and grateful that you're joining me on this journey. This podcast is sponsored by Blake Suzella's Holistic Counseling and Ryan Kopiar Holistic Healing. Ladies and gentlemen, excited to introduce you to David Meltzer. He is entrepreneur and author, CEO of Sports One Marketing. He is a TED speaker and he has his own podcast, The Playbook. In this episode, David and I talk about accountability, energy, conscious and the subconscious, and vibrating at a higher level. This is a little bit of a shorter episode than what some of my other ones are, but I promise you it does not lack with amazing content that is going to help to change your life. I want to start out first, David, by just saying thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today. And I want to vibrate with you at a higher level, and I want to share truth through our conversation today. And hopefully I know that you will educate not only myself, but the listeners out there, because I have a tremendous amount of respect for you and the content that you're putting out. So thank you.
Thank you. You started in a really good place. I appreciate you being more interested than interesting and knowing what you're talking about. So that's awesome.
So start out with the power and explaining to our listeners the power behind those two words. Thank you.
Yeah, they're the two most important and powerful words ever created and thoughts ever created, because gratitude gives you perspective. And when you think about what that means, if you have perspective, that makes every single thing that's happened in your past wonderful, right? It just is a matter of it's where I am, and I give gratitude for being there. And all the most challenging things that have happened in my life through gratitude have become the best things. Gratitude also makes my present even better and my future even brighter. So if you can take those two words and use them in as many situations as you can, I'm blessed because I've been able to study physics, quantum physics, metaphysics, and teach people, the two most powerful things of the universe are those two words, thank you. And you can change your life simply by thinking, saying, and doing grateful things as much as you can every single day.
You talk about the four aspects of life that are so important: gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication. I love your analogy. We'll start with gratitude. I love your analogy of the candle. So please share with our listeners gratitude as a candle.
Yeah. So, as we stated, gratitude is the most important thing in the world. And the interesting thing about a candle is not only if I light it and share its light, do I light up other candles, which gratitude does, but even more remarkably, it stops my candle from burning, right? It actually suspends time. And so I love the analogy of gratitude is like a candle. It's a light that you should be sharing with others. And by sharing that light, you're actually elevating your own light and sustaining your own life in a better, more prolonged, persistent, consistent, enjoying way.
And you have a very non-traditional definition of empathy and its application to success in life and its biophysical effects on the body. Explain to our listeners how to implement empathy in their life.
Number one, don't confuse empathy with sympathy. Sympathy doesn't work, in my opinion, right? You can't feel bad enough to make someone feel good. You can't be sick enough to make them well. You can't be poor enough to make them rich. Empathy is much more powerful than sympathy. It's forgiveness. And forgiveness gives you complete control of your life. And people are like, how can forgiveness give me control of my life? Because it gives you peace. If I can forgive myself, then I can give forgiveness to everyone else. I don't live life in conditions, judgments, scarcity, voids, obstacles, and shortages, which if I live my life in those realms, if I live my life in the realm of not enough or just enough, I'm just going to attract more of not enough or just enough. I'm just going to attract more shortages, voids, and obstacles. So forgiveness is something that I focus in on when I'm not living life close to, if not to, my full potential.
And so do you think, is it the negative energy that people are holding on to that is not allowing them to forgive other people? Is that what prevents some people from moving forward when we talk about the importance of empathy?
You know, it's interesting because there's three realms that are playing at all times. One is the conscious realm. So with negative energy, you have 10,000 thoughts a day. You want to control those thoughts. You want to have the least amount of negative thoughts you can, because that affects your conscious body, your cellular memory. Then you have the subconscious realm that has 40,000 thoughts in it, which are thoughts you have every day. And so the only way to change the 40,000 thoughts, if you're having negative ones that are attracting conscious negative ones, is to change the way that you're thinking. So it's what you think, say, and do, but it's also what you believe subconsciously, which then leads to your DNA, which is your official code, right? Your DNA is your code, your electricity, your current, your vibration. Well, the only way to shift your energy to truly attract what you want is to have the 10,000 right thoughts a day. Make sure you have the 40,000 same thoughts a day that create those neural pathways, which then affect your current, your own current, your own electricity, your own vibration. And what gets confusing to people is I meet tons of people that think, say, and do the right things. They even can believe the right things, but they carry the wrong energy, and then they wonder why they keep attracting all this negative stuff continuing in their life when they keep seemingly making all these changes, but they're not getting the effect or result that they're looking for. You've got to make sure that consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously, you're changing completely the way you think, say, do, believe, and energetically vibrate on things.
I agree with that 100%. And when I heard you say that, I thought, wow, that really makes sense. I thought I was crazy when I would bring myself back mentally to some unhappy times and try and spin that around and use it to actually make me happy. But share with the listeners how you make sure that your energy stays shifted in the right direction, because I think you kind of do something similar by initially focusing on the negative. Is that right?
I cancel all negative thoughts, and then if more negative thoughts keep coming, if I can't get it out of my head, I clear my subconscious mind, utilizing a deep breath through my nose and out through my mouth. And then if it continually pervades my thought, the negativity, I actually have an exercise to shift my energy where I focus in on what's bothering me the most, what I love the most, finding light in each, putting it over that, and then putting it over myself, holding me in the light, which actually physically shifts the energy of my DNA or my code. So this methodology of cancel, clear, connect, I put in my book, and I don't know if you know, but my prayer every day is to put 10 people in front of me that I can help every day when I wake up. So if anybody can't afford my book, wants my book, loves free shit, I don't care, reach out to me at David Meltzer and DM me, and I will happily send you a book to learn this stuff.
That's absolutely incredible. Accountability versus liability. Explain those two differences to the listeners.
I laugh. I'm laughing. I know this is by audio, but I love when people ask me the difference between liability and accountability, because I'm a lawyer, and I kind of got Jewish guilted into going to law school and taking the bar. But this is the most valuable lesson of going to law school. Is my mom, who's so wonderful, she taught me accountability is asking yourself two questions. What did I do to attract this into my life? And two, what am I supposed to learn from it? So as a smart aleck lawyer, I went to my mom and I said, hey, Mom, if somebody's texting and not paying attention and I'm sitting at a stop sign and they slam into the back of me, how am I accountable? And she looked at me really disappointed and said, you obviously, son, didn't learn anything in law school. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, you didn't learn the difference between accountability and liability. What you're talking about is liability. If you're hit from behind with someone texting, you should definitely call your insurance company. You should make sure that the judge of the traffic court knows that that person is liable according to California statute 1414 or whatever it may be. But don't tell the judge or the lawyers or the insurance company that you're accountable, because they don't know the distinction between the two. Accountability is a much more powerful thing. It gives you freedom because you are completely, I know it's counterintuitive, in control of your life when you know that you attract everything to yourself and you then are supposed to learn from it. Liability is a simple regulation, law, administrative code that allows you to collect money for damages according to some illusion that we call statutes or case law. That's the difference between liability and accountability.
When you say accountability and that negative energy coming back to you, that's what I think is so powerful, because listen, I've been guilty of it too, where I feel like, man, I'm doing all of the right things, but the bad stuff keeps happening. The accountability of what energy am I putting out that's bringing that negative energy back in. That's what I feel is so powerful about your definition of accountability. And effective communication.
You got to take time out of the equation. What confuses people is they want instant accountability, right? So they meet people that may be doing the wrong things, and they're like, hey, how come, the universe isn't holding them accountable? You don't know where this accountability or energy came from. The effects could be long-term, and so I just look and search and say, not via linear time, but in oneness, what did I do to be accountable and what am I supposed to learn? Even if it was, gosh, you know what? When I was a 17-year-old, I used to always do this. And now guess what? My 17-year-old's doing this to me. It took a whole generation, but I now understand accountability and I understand the lessons the universe is teaching me, but it wasn't the right time yet, right? So when my 17-year-old looks me in the face and lies blatantly about what she's doing, I'm like, I wonder what I did to attract that to my
and so talked about effective communication as it relates to the energy, because I thought that this was so powerful. We can only connect with those that we vibrate at the same level or that vibrates below us. That was so powerful to me in effective communication. Share with the listeners what that means.
Well, I have to be honest, you win me over by asking this question because, I know this is the Life Changer show, and that's my life changer question. That's the one that changed my entire life. When I sat on a plane and a medical doctor next to me told me that I was blocking my light and that she could teach me to vibrate faster through meditation. And I said to her, why is that so important? She explained very simply, the earth vibrates the slowest, plants, animals, humans, then sound, then light, then thought. And she asked me a critical question. She said, David, what do you think vibrates the fastest? And I said, I have no idea. She said, the truth. The truth vibrates the fastest. So you need to pursue your potential. You need to pursue the truth. And if you do that, David, you can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to and less than you. The more you pursue the truth, the faster you vibrate, the more you'll be aware of. And if I could give you a gift, she said to me, I want to give you awareness. Better than world peace. Awareness allows you simply to know whether to turn left or right, whether to allow someone into your relativity or your relationships, whether to help someone or not, whether to invest in something or not. Awareness is so powerful, and you simply gain awareness. You gain the simplicity of the most complex thing, the universe. You gain this enlightenment by vibrating faster, and things from me sometimes that I look back, I do a lot of business coaching, and some things seem so simple to me. And then I have to take my self back and say, gosh, you know what? Even 4 years ago, that wasn't so simple. I must be vibrating faster because this seems so simple. And that's what I really, not only do I wish for 10 people I could help, but I wish that 10 people could help other people with awareness and help them vibrate faster as well.
Do you think that it all starts with making sure that we're being true to ourselves and making sure that that truth is resonating and vibrating within us before we can ever truly recognize and share the truth with other people?
I look at things as vibration. So gamma is a truth vibration, and I don't believe we know the truth. I believe that everything that we see is a projection of our own perception. And so what we want to do instead is detach from that outcome of knowing the truth and enjoy the pursuit of our potential, or enjoy the pursuit of the truth. And instead of trying to share the truth as if we know it, inspire others or empower others to have the consistent, everyday, persistent, with no quit enjoyment of the pursuit of the potential or the truth. If I can empower others to do that, that will bring me even more joy. It'll allow me to elevate myself closer to the truth by elevating others closer to the truth.
I love it. I love it. That makes so much sense. Well, David, thank you again so very much for your time. I promise you for these next 30 days, I'm going to wake up every morning and say thank you. I'm going to say thank you before I go to bed. I think that having that gratefulness inside helps to keep the positive energy there and blocking out the negative energy. What can I do to serve you? How can I help you?
That is a wonderful question, and I appreciate it. You know, what I'm really interested now, and if you could help, is to help me raise money for my charity. And I can send you some information you can share with your friends, but I'm building a leadership and empowerment center so more people can elevate others by elevating themselves. And just anything that you can get people to raise awareness for the Unstoppable Foundation. We've impacted 75,000 people. Now I want them to learn how to impact thousands of people for each of those people, impacting millions of people. So if you truly want to help me, it would be just simply find people to help me support my cause. And I will tell you this, Ryan, I go on a lot of interviews, and I really appreciate people that, one, respect my time, which you have done right to the minute, and then two, that people that are prepared, that really, just don't want to have the thrill of being on a podcast with somebody, but actually have done their due diligence, been more interested than interesting. And you've earned my respect, and I'll be happy to help promote you and help you with your podcast as well, because I think you're on the right track and you have the right name, Life Changer, because you're going to change a lot of lives. And I appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you. I want to be respectful of your time, so we'll wrap it up there. But send me over the information, please, or I could communicate with Brad the information for that foundation, and I will do everything that I can to support.
Yeah, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much. I'll do this again. Let me know.
All right. Thank you, David. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for your time today. And again, remind you that this podcast is sponsored by Blake Suzeles Holistic Counseling and Ryan Kopiar Holistic Healing.